Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're your hosts, Dan and Andy. Andy, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. We're at season 4, episode number 30. Tonight is the sports edition. Today is June 5th, 2023. So it'll be all sports. Once again, we're going to cover the items that are just wrapping up, the sports that are finishing, along with the sports that are in full swing, including the Major League Baseball and whatnot. We're going to start off with the trivia question.
Fire away.
Trivia question is.
You want me to do it?
No. It's what's his name? It's Mark. No,
Greg Maddux.
It's Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux has the record for most steals. Steals by a pitcher.
No, not most. He's the oldest pitcher to steal a base.
Oh, I thought he was the oldest also.
Nope, just oldest.
Okay, so oldest baseball pitcher to steal a base. Greg Maddux was the oldest, and that record was broken in the 90s?
2008, July
2008.
14th.
Greg Maddux broke the record for oldest pitcher to steal a base. Who did he break it? Whose record did he break? That's the question tonight. If you can look it up and find out, we'll announce the answer at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Whose record did he break? It's a good story. I'll share your screen here.
Yes, get me ready here, and we'll go through some stuff.
Got lots of good stuff tonight.
The really only town ball bit I got is this Saturday is the town ball knocking out cancer event out in Brown.
Yes, we will be there.
Yeah. It's
hopefully good weather. Should be fun.
3 Crow River teams against 3 North Star League teams. So there you go. Games starting at noon, 2:30, and then 5 that night on the 10th. Great cause, supports the Randy Shaver Cancer Research Foundation. You don't have to make all 3 games. Stop out for 1, go get a burger, come back for the 3rd one if you want, or just show up for the 3rd one. I don't care.
And it's one ticket for the day, right?
I'm sorry, yeah, 1 ticket for all 3 games, as far as I understand. Yep. Okay. All games are played in Brownton, so swing on out there.
Great stadium. Bring
your Crow River Valley beer card.
Very good teams, too. This is going to be fun, and they want to make this an annual event.
Yep, the supposed to be good games are, so we'll see. Yes, Watertown's playing that 2nd game. Plato and Delano could be pretty good.
Oh, yes.
All right, here we go. Minnesota State High School girls softball brackets have been announced.
Okay.
There's the A. Again, like all teams, they seed the first 5. The next 3 are random draw. So just because Upsala is playing Randolph doesn't mean Upsala was the 8th team. So they could have been 6th for all I know, because they don't say who 6, 7, 8 are.
Okay. Yep.
If you follow it, know who won their bracket or who won their divisions, who was the 4 seed that won their conference, then you can kind of figure it out. But it's like they say, it's the playoffs. You throw the records out. Who gets a 3-game winning streak here is the winner.
Yes.
So there's your A bracket. Like I said, Randolph is the 1 seed. There they are. Edgerton, Southwest Minnesota Christians, the 5 seed, playing in the 2nd game there. Some of our locals. And these are all down at Coswell Park. You can see the different fields on there. This is where the fields are. Weather could happen. Things could happen. They could change. But 99% sure these are the fields it's all going to happen at. AA, LeSueur Henderson is the 1 seed.
Wow.
And Watertown Mayor got an at-large bid to be playing the 2 seed St. Charles. They're on date 8th of June.
Very good.
So there's that one. Here's 3A. Mankato East is your 1 seed. And Winona's a 2 seed playing Delano. So there's another local team for us there to keep an eye on. And then the larger schools. I almost said, like football would say the big kids, the big boys. I didn't want to say the big girls. That can come out wrong.
Yes.
Big schools. Rosemont is the 1 seed playing Hopkins. The 5-4 St. Michael Albertville against White Bear Lake. Farmington with the random draw against the 2 seed Maple Grove. And Shakopee with the other random draw against Forest Lake, the 3 seed. So there we go. There's that.
These are all these will be good if you get a chance to get down there. It's Caswell Park. That's in Mankato, North Mankato area. Really good teams. Of course, it's the state, but fun time of year.
Yeah, and you can follow them. I think it's the NSPN might have them on or something like that too online. Your school sites, I'm sure, will give you information on that. Here's a little factoid I brought up. San Diego Padres at 16 years old. Padres prospect. That's hard to say. Ethan Salas, no relation to Mark Salas. I looked it up. Has been added to their single-A Lake Elsinore roster. Salas will make his minor league debut tonight. This was a couple days ago. And is the first 2006 born player to play in the minors. Now you may say, Andy, Padres, why do we care?
Yes.
Because we're a local sports thing. So you know what? We have to keep that all local. Because Ethan's brother plays for the Twins organization, Jose Salas.
Oh, yes. That's right. That is his brother.
Got to drop local people every chance we get.
The Colonels.
So, yes, of course it had a local tie-in. That's why I talked about it. If I didn't learn nothing watching WCQ all those years, it doesn't have a local tie-in, you don't mention it.
That's awesome. Those guys are talented.
Yeah, very talented. I did look it up, though. No relation to Mark Salas, but they did have a father and grandfather that had some time in the majors. Not by the last name Salas, though. So
okay.
Look it up. Sports and songs, 80s baseball stat of the week.
I like it.
It's almost kind of taken over the soapbox as your favorite bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. I look forward to this. And for the listeners out there, we don't rehearse this before. I don't even know what it is when Andy brings it up. With this or the soapbox.
Yeah, we have about 5 minutes beforehand. We kind of go over the trivia question, and that's really about it. Okay, here we go. That ain't a newspaper clipping right there. I don't know what it is. June 3rd, 1988, the Dodgers beat the Reds 13-5 on 22 hits, all singles. Steve Sachs and Mickey Hatcher each had 5 hits, and Reds second baseman Davey Concepcion to the last inning and a third, allowing 2 hits and striking out Franklin Stubbs.
Now, he's got the C. Now, that's a captain, right?
The captain, yep. Yeah, he was the captain.
Very rare.
You don't see that much anymore.
In baseball. But he threw the final inning. And so
Inning and a third.
Oh, my God.
But 22 hits, all singles.
All singles in the game. Nothing, no extra base hits at
all. Not a one. All singles.
Mickey Hatcher in the, Steve Sachs, another big name.
Yeah, and they had 5 singles. 5 for 5 is pretty good, but then you get all singles. That's got to be kind of, I don't want to say frustrating, but I wonder if after like the third single, someone after like the 18th single, someone's like, just stretch it and see what happens.
Just to see what happens.
Now, yes. I don't know. Did someone stretch it and they got a single thrown out at second? I don't know the official box score. I figure what it said here.
Good question.
But it doesn't say here, so I'm assuming that that's that. And like I said, David Concepcion did throw the last inning of the third, allowed 2 hits and struck it out. Didn't allow any runs. So that's a good thing. Your homework assignment.
All right, I've got a pencil ready. Summer school
homework assignment. Keep your eye on these 2 names. Write these names down and remember them. De La Cruz, he is a shortstop for the Reds organization. And, of course, Manny Machado, we've talked about him for the Mets. Shortstop in the Mets organization. Some people are saying they're going to be up in the next 2 months. Could be sooner. I guarantee they'll both be up this time of year or this year. With Ronnie with the Mets, so the thing is he's a shortstop. Lindor's making a lot of money. They ain't moving him. They just called up Batty at third. They're not moving him. Word is they might have him play second and just move Jeff McNeil to one of the corner outfield spots, or have this kid start playing the outfield in the minors now.
Or maybe would he be a DH in the majors to start?
He could DH, but
more than likely not.
We're going the two catcher system with the Mets. The other catcher's always DHing. With the Mets, they got Daniel Vogelbach, they got Pete, they got other guys in the outfield. They got 4-man outfield. So with that, sad thing is I think when Ronnie comes up, Vogelbach might get the short straw on that deal.
And sometimes too when the trade deadline comes up, some of these young prospects have an impact on that, saying, you know what, we're going to bring this guy up. Who should we move? Not that they do it for Lindor here, but sometimes a team will say, now someone's expendable because we got this guy coming up. So that's another reason why they trade. Interesting. These guys are phenomenal.
So that's your homework. Write these names down, listen for them, and go, hey, Andy talked about them.
Yeah, we'll hear these guys. We'll hear these names. Yes.
If not, the minor league all-star game for sure in July, you'll hear them. If not, before that.
Now, typically, the listeners, I think they know this as well, but for a team that's not doing well, let's say like in Oakland, for instance,
yep.
you're more apt to bring a guy up like this, not only to put butts in the seats to come up because you can, but now, like you say, the Mets, it's tough because they're in the hunt. The Reds are kind of midway in the hunt.
Yeah.
But if the team's doing bad, one of the good things at the end of the season is you can bring up some guys, experiment around when it doesn't have an impact, so to say.
Especially if he's a shortstop, you want to get outfield experience. Might as well get it in the majors, The Mets. Not doing well, and I'll still talk about them because I'm a reporter first.
SpongeBob.
With his Mets head on, not looking very happy. The Mets are expected to DFA Thomas Nido. Navarez will come up. We're going to Arraez and Alvarez as the catchers. Nido had been with the Mets since 2017 and was the second longest tenured player behind Brandon Nimmo. So I thought that was a pretty interesting factoid there. All right, here we go. There's Buck. Buck is not looking happy. The Mets were swept in a 3-game series for the third time this season. They were only swept twice in a 3-game series last year. So things are not going good for the boys in blue. But I still have faith. I still love them. They're still my team. More fun baseball facts.
Okay.
This is the anniversary of 10-cent beer night in Cleveland. 60,000 beers were sold at 10 cents each.
Yes.
There was 50 cops, 19 streakers, 7 emergency room injuries, 9 arrests, 2 bare moons, and a sports writer punched in the jaw. Now, there's another picture of the chaos. Not exactly like Demolition Derby night, but still.
It's up there. This was in Cleveland Municipal Stadium, right?
10-cent beer night, estimated 60,000 cups of brew were sold to a crowd of 25,000. So that's only really what? Not even 2 beers each.
Indians have to forfeit.
Game due to the unruly behavior of their fans. So Indians hosted 10-cent beer night. Do that, yeah. So there you go. Yeah, like I was talking to Jeremy.
The 50th year anniversary.
Yes, I was talking to Jeremy about it earlier. Jeremy Quas. I said that'd be one hell of a beer can snake they could have made that night. Or beer cup snake was
beer snake. Yes,
60,000 cups.
25,000 fans, 60,000 cups of beer, all that's for
just over 2 per person, and they got rowdy.
A dime at Cleveland.
All I gotta say is, you guys are at Cleveland, a bunch of lightweights. If you got Rulli after 2 beers, I'd be embarrassed. I'd forfeit 2. Like they've had 2 and they're already this bad.
I just wonder what they did before the game even started.
Yeah, I'm sure the tailgating was pretty good that night. Here's a fun fact. Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks, who are doing very well. At home, 6 starts, 6-0. I think I'd work that rotation run where he pitched at home a lot.
Yes, my goodness. Look at the numbers.
And you look at the D-backs, they're doing awesome. They're first place. They're ahead of the Dodgers. They're in first place.
They started hot right out of the gate, and we thought that sooner or later they'll settle back down to reality. And they're still in first.
They're still in first. Okay, here's our boy Louis Arraez. Major League Baseball, in the last 30 regular seasons, to have at least 7 times or more base hits than strikeouts. Tony Gwynn's done it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So far, Louis Arraez. 11 strikeouts, 80 base hits. So
that's a very good ratio.
You strike out once for every 7 hits. That's pretty good.
These guys are contact guys. They'll put the ball in play all the time.
Tony Gwynn did it for 6 years in a row.
Well, Gwynn was a beast.
Yeah, he was.
He's putting up video game numbers.
Oh, yeah. Steven Strasburg's done for the year. He was always kind of injury prone since he came up. He had that one, not healthy year, but made it through the entire year when they won the World Series. I know they had a run beforehand, and they were kind of watching them when Davey Johnson was there. They're on a pitch count, and they pulled them. They didn't do well in the playoffs afterwards. A few years ago, when they won it, he just went all out, and he may never pitch again. He literally gave his career for that championship. He was fighting injury that year. Strasburg was a great pitcher in college. When he was healthy in the majors, he was great. Just the arm gave out on him. So
one of the best.
Yep. The career his name will be one of those what could have been type career stories we'll hear for a long time.
Oh yes, kind of like a Kirby Puckett, Tony Oliva as well.
Yep.
They would have played longer. The numbers they could have put up. This guy was something else.
Even Joe Mauer's name comes up in that talk a little bit because he kind of cut it early too. Roger Craig, one of the original Mets, passed away this morning. He was a character. Here's just a little bit out of Roger Lee Craig. Pitcher, coach, manager, baseball for the Brooklyn and LA Dodgers, the Mets, the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Phillies. From 55 to 66, he played. Then became a pitching coach, as a player coach. He was part of 4 World Series championships. He was a pitching coach in Detroit and got Jack Morris started. So he kind of helped create that thing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Urban legend is Roger Craig. He was a pitching coach for Houston for a while in the late 70s. But when he was coaching with the Giants, he kind of played the head games, and he was one of the first few guys to call out Mike Scott for scuffing the ball at the Astros all the time.
Okay.
Because Roger Craig was kind of known for knowing how to scuff a ball and get away with it. So, of course, he knew what to look for. That's all urban legend. That's just bar stories, but he was a character. He will be missed. August 26th, mark your calendar.
Okay, got it.
Bartolo Colon's official retirement ceremony at Citi Field.
Wow, Bartolo.
Big sexy.
Big sexy on August 26th, a retirement ceremony.
Yes.
One of the best.
Won't be a dry eye in the house. College football, a couple college football notes here for you. Scheduling. Now, when they say the big power conferences, tough schedules, Big Ten's got lots of teams in the power schedule, power schools. Teams playing at least 10 Power 5 opponents. Big 10, 13 of the 14. Big 12, 11 teams of the 14 are playing at least 5 Power 5 or at least 10 Power 5 opponents. Now, those two conferences are doing it all right in their own conference.
Yes.
Pac-12, 10 of the 12. ACC, 10 of the 15. SEC, 2 of the 14 teams are playing at least 10 Power 5 opponents. That's how they get up there all the time.
So
with their big records and undefeateds, and because they don't play anybody else.
Is that a historical thing? Is that a trend? They've been doing that for years?
Well, at least for 2023 anyway.
I wonder how far back that goes. That could certainly be the case.
Yes, you got other tough schools in there, but 10 of them?
Everyone else is in the double digits.
Yep. Darius Shepard of the Bison has been signed by the Los Angeles Chargers. Now,
yes,
a lot of you are probably going, wait a minute, Andy. Isn't there another Bison playing for the Chargers? Well, yes, there is. Easton Stick is still a quarterback there.
Easton Stick.
He's still there, so there might be some Bison practice stuff going on. Run some old Bison plays. Bison pride, horns up down there, LA Charger land. So that could be exciting to watch their spring train. If you get a chance to see a Charger spring training game, keep a look for that Stick Shepherd connection.
Oh, that could be the case.
Stanley Cup playoffs. Bemidji State. Good luck to Zach Whitecloud. Oh, wait, never mind. Zach scored the go-ahead goal last night in game 1.
Nice.
So, there. Oh, wait, that's right. He's from one of those small schools. Some people don't think they count. Sorry.
Oh, ouch.
The Vegas Knights are up 1-0. Game 2 is tonight, I believe.
It must be.
It got kind of ugly in that game. There were some fisticuffs, which were kind of cool, but kind of cheap shots by Florida. But I think they're setting a precedence too. So we'll keep an
Yeah,
eye on that.
they're the hot team, so don't count them out just yet.
NBA is tied up at 1 each. Miami Heat won the other day, so it's 1 each right now. Game 7 will be the 18th. There's your TV schedule. 7th, 9th, every couple days. Now, here's a fact from game 1, a stat here, Dan, that I don't even think I'd be this bad.
Okay.
Max, game 1, first player in NBA Finals history with 0 points and had 10 or more field goal attempts.
10 plus double-digit field goal attempts, missed them all, and ended with 0 points.
Yes. I think the sun would even shine on my ass. I think one of them would fall in.
Jeez.
He did have 3 assists and 5 rebounds, though.
Well,
but you'd figure
that's almost hard to do.
Yeah, you accidentally one would fall in.
You would think.
0 for 4 for 3-pointers, 0 for 6 inside the arc. But
not a free throw, anything.
God bless him, he kept throwing them up there, but still.
Yeah, it's a very humbling experience there in front of the world watching.
0 for 10 on inside the arc, 0 for 4 on 3-pointers. So, wow. And of course, that game was in Denver, so he really heard it, I suppose, from the crowd.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
And that's what I got, sir. I got no soapbox today for you. Sorry.
Well, I've got some various updates, Andy. It may not be as soapbox worthy, but anyway, baseball. So we're down in college baseball. We're down to the final championships, the NCAA championships. Division III, they're down to the final 4 teams. Division II, I think there are 8 or 12 teams left right now. The next couple of days, they'll trim that down. And after tonight, D1 World Baseball National World Series NCAA will be down to the Sweet 16 after tonight. There's been a couple upsets. I've been watching some of these brackets. They'd have kind of a pool play to start the first opening round, and there are some ranked teams that are already out and eliminated after tonight. So next week's show, they'll be down to the Sweet 16 for the Division I, the big boys. And then they get into the World Series in Omaha after that. So this is going to be some good stuff. Now, the St. Paul Saints.
Yes, I've heard of them.
St. Paul Saints had just finished. When you play a 6-game series against some of these teams, you're against these good teams. The Saints are winning half or at least a little more. But now they had a good run in where they played a couple weaker teams and got the record up there. Last couple of weeks, weaker teams. The Saints find themselves in 2nd place, only to the Iowa Cubs. Now, guess who they play after a day off today? Iowa Cubs come to town.
The I-Cubs.
1st place team against the Saints, the 2nd place team. And now this is all CHS Field. There was a rain out earlier in the season. One of the games is a doubleheader. You're gonna see a 7-game series. Are you going to any of these games, Andy?
Friday night.
So
I will be there.
You're going to see some good baseball there with the amount of players the Twins have sent down for rehab assignments or whatnot. That Saints team already is good. Now they got a lot of ex-Major League ball players on there. Very good. The I-Cubs, very good. These are the top 2 teams, the International League in this West Division, are going to be going head-to-head in a 7-game series. This should be fun. This should be some excitement with the good weather at home. Kids are done with school and everything. The place should be filled up for fans.
Yes. Should be very exciting. It's always exciting there at St. Paul, though. But
they always
should be very good.
They always have a good time there. Luis Arraez is hitting .399 as we speak. So he's got a big lead. And I find it odd that this is the year, if you go to MLB.com, go to stats, and you go to best hitters, instead of it being automatically sorted, descending order by average, where Luis Arraez would be at the top, you got to go now and click on the batting average to see who's the top, because they defaulted to the OBS, I think, the on base. It defaults to that. So now Luis is down there 8th or 10th place or something, but you got to go and take the extra click to get to the top batting averages in all the major leagues, not just national or American, but in major leagues, he's hitting .399. leading everybody, I think, by 30 points. So that's fun to watch. He went 5 for 5 the other night. But
here's the sad thing. I want to know if he's listed at second base, I believe, correct?
Yes.
And you look at the National League, he might not make the All-Star game.
Well, who's at second, and then who's going from Miami? That's where he's playing.
Well, Jazz Chisholm with Miami will probably get the popular vote, even though he's on the IL, so maybe he can replace him if he's still injured by then.
Okay, so is he in center field?
Yes, but he could be their representative if he's elected in. And they might go, we already got a guy from that team.
Yeah,
so
it's interesting because
it's a popular vote, so.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Number one, Luis Arraez won the batting title last year in the American League. Well, and now this year he's leading it again, so he'd have to be in the All-Star game. I can't imagine him not making it. But someone I talked to in the offseason says, is Arraez going to be moved to Miami because they're going to be really good? I said, well, the National League East has the Mets, the Braves already. No matter what's going to happen, Miami's not going to make any kind of a move. Well, Miami's in second place right now.
Well, right now I'm just looking here at fantasy rankings at the beginning of the year for the National League. Now this is for fantasy rankings, so I don't know where we put him on All-Star ballot, but Mookie Betts qualified at second base. Jazz Chisholm, Tommy Edman from St. Louis, Max Muncy with the Dodgers. So Jeff McNeil with the Mets. So there's a lot of guys on there that qualify at second base.
A lot of people ahead of him, so they'll probably at the end when that's done, and the coaches come in, and then will select the rest, or that's for pitchers. Yeah. No, the fans vote, right?
Yeah, the fans vote. Yeah, it's almost all fan voting now.
And so sometimes too there'll be an injury as well, and someone else will be elected at the last minute. But Arraez deserves to be there. Obviously,
we'll know more. I think probably by next week we'll see the All-Star ballots out. I'm curious where.
Yes, the Marlins. I never thought the Marlins would be in the hunt in the American League East, and I don't know if it's just him or everyone's having a good season as well. But the Mets are. I mean, the Marlins are a tough team.
They're ahead of the Mets right now.
I never envisioned this year that they'd be that high. I figured in a couple of years they're going to be a tough team to deal with. Not right away.
Okay, I'm not saying this to poo-poo them. They're ahead of the Mets, but you know what? They're still playing just 500 ball. It's just right now that's good enough for second place and outside shot at the wild card in the National League right now.
Wow.
Because Arizona and LA have such a big league, so they're doing so well. The Braves have that big pop lead. So those three teams are in it for sure. Everybody else is fighting for the wild card are all fighting right around 500. So, with three wild card teams in there, we'll see. But I'm kind of interested to see that All-Star ballot, see who else is listed as a second baseman.
That'll be fun to watch. I'll have to look that up. I looked at it the other day just to see who was all on it, but I never looked at the second base folks.
Is the ballot out already?
What's that?
Is the ballot out?
The ballot is out.
Well, let's see if I can pull it up here real quick.
You can vote. Now, I haven't seen the statistics or the results as of yet, and maybe they don't show those till a little later on. But
let's see if I can find it here real quick. Hold on, folks.
Max Kepler is listed as a right fielder.
Is he really?
And you can see with the interesting thing with the Twins. This is the only thing I'll say about the Twins is that I did a special or a bonus episode early before the season started as far as how many outfielders the Twins have, high caliber outfielders, and what are they going to do because there's too many of them,
right?
AAA, AA majors, and so now there's been some injuries, but not a lot. They're all still really healthy. So what are you going to do? We've got all these guys out there, and I think the Twins are setting out a couple test balloons, little articles here and there. Patrick Royce today had one. It may have been, I don't think it's from himself, but I think they kind of said, throw an article out there. We'll see what the responses are, what the comments are. Are the Twins done with Max Kepler? Could they release him, trade him, and bring in these guys that are sitting on the bench twiddling their thumbs because there's no one getting playing time? So I think the Twins like articles like that. They can feed on the responses and the comments to see if this would be a favorable thing or not. Max Kepler was a fan favorite for a long time with the Minnesota Twins. A lot of people love him for his long tenure and seniority with Minnesota, but he may be the odd man out.
Arraez of the Braves is leading for second baseman.
Okay.
But I think he's the guy, isn't he the guy who thought it was a home run and stared at it and it bounced off the wall for a single?
Yes, I think that was.
So that might help you.
A long single.
Yeah, it's a 410-foot single.
And you said on your post, bench him. I saw that.
Bench him. And you know what? The next day they did.
They did.
Yep. I had to bench them right there.
You can't.
There was a pinch runner waiting for him at first base.
It wasn't like this ball was going to go foul if it wasn't fair. It was obviously a home run. It was deep center field.
I mean, if it was going 10 rows up, then yeah, you stand and watch that all you want.
It dropped in front of the center fielder, dropped for a single. He never ran it out, never got to second.
Yeah, he stood there and watched it.
And then that's what happens. Next day, you're on the bench, riding some pine.
Yeah, you're in the minors, but you're in the bus league.
Right, we got a trivia answer.
Yes.
The trivia question is, when Greg Maddux broke the record for the oldest pitcher to steal a base in the major leagues back in 2008, who did he break it? Who broke? Yep. Whose record was it?
When I looked this up, when I saw it before I sent it to you, I was thinking back, and I was thinking like Bob Gibson, because he was such a gamer, something like that. Someone like him, maybe Earl Hershiser, because he was all going all the time. And no, I was, as Fonzie would say, I was rude.
What was the answer?
Jim Cott.
Jim Cott of the Twins.
Kitty. Kitty might be with the Cardinals at that time, but
I never would have known that. Never would have guessed that answer.
The story behind it is Maddux had broken Cott's record for most Gold Gloves.
Gold Gloves, okay.
So Kitty sends him a thing, says, "Hey, congratulations, da da da. Hey, at least I still have one record, oldest pitcher to steal a base." Maddux broke that later that year and sent Cott a message saying, "Sorry, I broke that too."
Sorry, big shooter. Beat you on that too. That's fun, friendly banter right there.
And I think if I read it correctly, I think that was also the game Maddux got win number 350.
Okay.
That base, so you got
that Gold Glove record is
16, 17. Yeah. Oh my God.
All right, so we'll be back next week with some World Series of college baseball updates. Division II and Division III will be finished by then.
Yep.
We'll have another week under our belt of the NBA, NHL postseason.
High school softball final results will be in.
Softball will be done, and the baseball brackets will be announced on next week's show. We'll cover that next week in the state of Minnesota.
Yep.
Have a good week, everyone.
See ya.